And a good morning to you. Welcome inside the Bottom Line. Happy Wednesday, 39 degrees, a lot of fog. If you got to be out this morning, please be careful. When I came out at 5 o'clock, you couldn't see anything. Dense fog did not really fairly describe it. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. It was really, really bad. I see it's lifting some now. Of course, a little bit of daylight coming through. Going to clear off, going to get it to the low 60s, 80% chance of rain tomorrow, then clear skies over the weekend, but cooling off. I think highs in the 50s after tomorrow.
That'd be good.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I'm still waiting for wintertime. We're not getting wintertime. I'd like to see a little bit of wintertime. All right, let me lead off here, okay? Lead off batter. I'll be lead off batter for right now. Let's see. Saw a story. Wanted to get your perspective.
Okay.
Cliff Kingsbury was fired. And I don't – maybe he was surprised. I think if he was surprised, he was the only one surprised. Richie, good morning. But I guess here's my question, and this is where I'm wondering if it doesn't hurt him for the future. When he got fired, he left the country. He went to vacationing in Thailand and doesn't want to be considered associated for anything going on right now in the coaching world.
He's probably just doing a reset.
Is that good?
Yeah, it's healthy, in my opinion, because he's getting away from things, clearing his head, time for reflection. You know, a lot of times we're so emotional we bounce from one thing to the other, right? Mm-hmm. You know, we see that a lot when we're young and maybe have, girlfriend or whatever, boy, whatever, and so we stop dating this one person we've been dating for a long time, then we immediately run and go date somebody else because,
it's called rebound.
Well, we're searching for something instead of, outward instead of inward. And it's pause for reflection. I don't know him. I know nothing about him. I know he's not a bad guy. You know what I mean? I mean, I say I know that. I mean, there's nothing that leads me to believe. And the way he handled the Kyler Murray situation when Murray's screaming out showed he's very professional because he could have gone right back at him. You know, I mean, he could have done that. But
I'm going to say this, okay? Glad you brought that up. But I will say this. I don't like the quarterback running the franchise.
I don't disagree
now
with
all
that.
anybody talks about is the Cardinals need to find a GM and a coach that can work with Kyler Murray. Really?
Why is that?
Because that's where they've invested their future.
Like, why is that?
He's hard to deal with, hard to get along with.
Yeah, I mean, why? But
whiny.
That right there tells you that the process is broken.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So what you do is you fire Kingsbury. Right,
got to have a scapegoat.
Right, because it's it's displaced blame and displaced basically displaced anger and displaced blame when it comes down to it. I just know that there's certain intangibles that individuals have, and those that like success, Lanny, is a duty along with the opportunity that requires responsibility. Okay. And focus and determination and desire, all these things. When you sit back on your laurels and you expect things around you to change or to adapt to you, then you get left behind. Even if you're at a certain, or you think you're at a certain status, you get left behind after that time, after that curvature's passed. It's made its round. I just don't see Kyler Murray acting that way if he's in front of Bill Belichick. I don't see him acting that way if it's Mike Tomlin.
That's my whole thing.
But again, you brought in an offensive coordinator and tried to make him your head coach. I've been talking about this since all this
Yeah, but
stuff
there's
started.
a lot of them have done it and been successful. But
It doesn't mean they can't be.
But I think you've got to have the commitment from the franchise and the players.
Well, that's right.
To make it work, and I don't think they do. Now, they have hired, this just dropped Wednesday, Monty Ossenfort. He's the former director of player personnel with the Titans as their new general manager. Okay. Owner Michael Bidwell and a panel of Cardinals executives interviewed, and after an initial phone conversation with Bidwell days earlier. He's 44 years old, 21 years of experience, brings to Arizona. He is with the Titans for the past 3 years, 15 years with the Patriots before that. So does he bring a different attitude that maybe doesn't fit well with Kyler Murray, because he's going to have that New England Bill Belichick way of thinking, will he not?
He's going to have a lot of the experiences of that, which is what they're looking for, because they know. I think this whole thing revolves around, the substance of the issue versus the style.
Mm-hmm.
Why was Kingsbury brought in? Because he's supposed to be an offensive, innovative. It's the stylistic form of things.
Mm-hmm.
What are the intangibles necessary to run a team? Why is he fired? That is what the issue is. He's Kyler Murray's not going to do that with Andy Reid. He's not going to do that with Todd Bowles. He's not going to. I mean, just go on to Steve Wilkes, right? And he was at Arizona, and they fired him, which was a big mistake, because if anybody needed that, it was Murray, because apparently he doesn't do his due diligence when it comes to watching film and studying. Now, do I know that? No, that's what's been reported.
That's correct.
Okay. So
reliably been reported.
Yes.
It's not just rumor. This
right.
This is real.
And it's been a topic for discussion. Now, you say, third person, this guy's one of the greatest athletes, that we've seen in a long time, for his ability to do multiple things and to be dynamic. Again, that is a stylistic form of behavior, but because until that part is realized through discipline, focus, desire, the 13 core principles that are out there that lead to success, then you have chaos. What do they have? Chaos. He is missing some of the core principles that define success other than his athleticism, which really have nothing to do with it in the end, obviously.
Doesn't this go back to what we have said? Okay, this goes back to what we have said. If I've got a team, I'll take 100% attitude with 50% athletic ability over 100% athletic ability with 50% attitude.
Yeah, sure.
But you have to be willing to take that on the chin till you can get it to work. That's what I think Steve Wilkes did at Carolina.
Yeah.
He cut the BS. We're going to all toe the line. This is what we're going to do. He earned the respect of his players that understand, appreciate, and want to be on that side.
Yes.
When you've got a quarterback, it can possibly divide the locker room. I've said that. I think that's been part of the problem that's hurt the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. He's not always on the same page. Josh Stewart, good morning.
That's Stu-ball. That's a little – Aaron Rodgers, to me, I'm not your – just hear me out. He's been in a while. He's obtained things.
Mm-hmm.
He's shown that he is the NFL MVP. He's won a Super Bowl. The Kyler Murray thing, I mean, we're talking about a guy that's
no, I'm not comparing the two. I'm just saying.
Like, no, the attributes
there could be
and things you're talking
dissension.
About, it can be a little different, though, because more people look to Aaron Rodgers for guidance and, the success that he's had and trying to obtain success of their own. When they look at Kyler Murray and they want to say, gosh, I know he can be up here, but he's doing all the things that keep him down here.
Mm-hmm.
All right? He's very emotional. That's okay. We're emotional beings. How we deal with that emotion when those things come up is what's most important. And is it emotion or is it passion? I think it's emotion.
Now, his daddy is Eddie Murray, baseball?
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, and you guys can correct me here, I want to say before the draft, he went on Dan Patrick, and his daddy came with him, and he wouldn't answer questions without looking at his daddy for the answer,
right?
Especially when they talked about the baseball, football thing.
Yes.
That should have been that would have been a red flag for me right there. That would have told me, hey, this guy's not mature enough making his own decisions.
I think.
How can he run my franchise? How can he be the face of my franchise?
No, those are good questions. I think one of the things that when you have a professional athlete that's been there and done that, that's had success like Eddie Murray, and they have a child, they want to make sure that the child, in that case, young man, is ready to go forth into the world with very little life experience.
Mm-hmm.
So they're relying on trying to say the right things to get them where they need to be. The problem is implementation of those experiences through failures and successes. And right now, you can see the lack of implementation through being allowed to fail that's leading to his current failures instead of successes.
But the other side of that is, and here again, I don't know all the story, especially if it's baseball.
Deep.
Especially if it's baseball, okay? But didn't Eddie Murray have some of his own baggage and agendas because of things that he didn't like that happened when he was in the league?
I'm sure. I mean, I don't remember.
I'm trying to remember when all this was going on, when Kyler came out, and it just, it was almost he was set up to not succeed because of too many outside things outside of the game that he was trying to work with, control, whatever.
Yeah, it could be that. I'm certainly not discounting that, but at the same time, it's obvious that we want to try to help our children as much as we can, with failure being their greatest teacher. But for whatever reason, we never want our kids to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And because it hurts us, we want it better than our kids. We want it better for them than what we had.
I look at it more of what is that failure going to teach? Is it a teachable moment? Then I'm going to help you work through that if it's a teachable moment.
Yeah, I mean, you got and again,
that builds
we're
character.
Talking about it does, and that's what's important because it helps you handle situations down the road.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I try to do, even though sometimes it doesn't sound like it, I try to give a lot of grace on things. Like you have to be immature before you can be mature.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do things.
We have to fail before you succeed.
Right, exactly. And there's no such thing as overnight success. And the issue that a lot of this comes from with a lot of people is they think success is limited. Like if they see someone else successful, then they feel like they can't be because there's only a certain amount of success that's out there, and that's not true. Success is abundant. And the definition of success versus achievement, is what people have to figure out to how high they want to go and what they do. And the point of that is if you have former people that played sports that didn't obtain the professional level, a lot of times they can be very critical of those that have obtained it
mm-hmm.
in true reality because they wanted to be there. Where then you have some, right, that look at the situation and say, you know what, number one, how do you improve yourself as a person, in order to be better at what you do? I think Kyler Murray, like I said a few minutes ago, needs to do some inward reflection.
Right.
Maybe he needs to go on a trip to Thailand.
But somebody has to call him out on it. And right now, nobody's willing to call him out on it.
Yeah, well, they called him out on look at the world we live in.
Now, I know.
Today, if you tell the truth, it can make you multiple things in the eyes of the media.
I think I've told this story before.
It is what it is.
I had an altercation with a coordinator when I was coaching on the sidelines during a game, questioning me.
You were the head coach?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
Monday morning.
Ouch.
Monday morning, I'm in the AD's office and said, you got a decision to make. One of us ain't going to be here this afternoon. And I'm okay with whatever, but this is the way it's going down.
Holy smokes, dude.
And I was the one there because he understood it too. He was a coach, and he understood that couldn't be done. That wasn't the way to do it, and that was not the way things should have been done. So, but that's what I'm saying. You somewhere you got to draw that line in the sand.
Completely agree.
And until you do. Now, Richie brought up a good topic. I am completely good with this. It's about a new possible coordinator moving to the Steelers. I'll have more on that in just a moment. That's called a tease.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call 4Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Glad to have you here on a foggy hump day Wednesday. Richie mentioned this, and this was something Juju and I touched on a little bit on Monday night. He got very excited about this, being a Steeler fan.
Okay.
Richie said he's seen that it looks like Byron Leftwich is going to be fired from Tampa and is expected to be hired by the Steelers. I like that. You don't like that. You're a Steeler fan. That's why I threw it out there.
I don't dislike Leftwich. Are we looking for the best available person, or are we? I don't dislike him. I don't think he does a bad job. It's just he didn't do so well with the older quarterback. Maybe he can do better with the younger one. I don't know. Maybe
Do you like the coordinators that have made the move relatively quickly from the field to the coaching ranks to the coordinator?
I'm okay with that.
What's his name in Dallas?
Yeah, Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore,
who was not, he was like Jason Garrett.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Perennial
you
backup.
don't have to. Well, I mean, look at Frank Reich.
Yeah.
Kubiak.
Gary Kubiak.
Yeah, right. I mean, these are people that have attained the pro level, but not superstardom.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, they've had time to sit back, even though they're trying to get out there. They've had time to sit back, reflect, look at things, learn how to work with multiple sets of people instead of being the point person on everything. And sometimes that bodes well in the coaching environment, because collaboration it has a lot to do with how you handle things.
Most history shows that the majority of your elite athletes do not make great coaches. Now, Dion may be the one that breaks that mold.
And that's okay. Well, I mean, I think there's several people that have, but like to your point, which is a great point, there's just not that many. But again, my suite mate in college, who's my age, we came in East Carolina together. He was the first pick of the Reds in the '93 draft, which was the last pick of the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And Pat Watkins, and he was a guy that obviously a tremendous athlete, but he had all of the the desire, all of these things that made him the great player that he was, and he made it to the majors. And, from what I understand, he had told one of our other friends, I just don't understand, when he was working with some kids, I don't understand why, it's so hard for me, because they won't try to be the best they can be and correct the things they need to, and it's right in front of their face. And he's not talking about little kids. He's talking about, to do these things. Now, I did not hear him directly say that, but the point is that, that mimics and mirrors a lot of the thoughts and feelings and emotions that very high-performing, very talented, very individually driven people have that have obtained that high level. Unless a CEO has worked in the janitorial part of the company, they may know what the janitor does, but they don't understand what they do. And there's a difference between knowing something and understanding it.
I made this comment, not tooting my horn at all, okay? Just let me clear that up from the beginning. Any time I have been responsible for something or been responsible for people, okay, and that goes back to coaching, I didn't feel like I could be the best that I could be to be able to teach if I did not understand every position under me.
That's right.
And I've always said, in every job I've had, I can do my job, but I can maybe not be the best at every job under me, but I know what that job does, and if I had to step in and do it for a day, I could.
There'll be no problem.
And so I can't understand what that person goes through if I don't understand what they do. Looking at it from the outside and making some assumptions or different things, and I think that's why it is in the coaching ranks. I think that's one of the things that you have to do. Now, the other side of that is when you're a Peyton Manning, even Drew Brees, I think, is going to struggle with this. Dion may be the one that breaks the mold. It's hard for you to understand that everybody doesn't view it the way I view it.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about when I told you about the guy I played against in Maiden. And I could tell everything he's doing by pressure on his hands. I was in high school. Nobody taught me that.
No,
I just picked that up and understood
it.
Of
your
but I couldn't even teach that. I couldn't teach that. Because some people just don't understand, well, why is that so important? What's that do for me?
Well, this is a great the smallest scale example is a great example. Quinn the other day is Mars Hill now, and he's still meeting people and, knowing getting to know his teammates. He comes in, mid-year, whatever. He knows a few of the guys up there, not many. Well, he's in the, I guess they call it the mess hall or whatever they call it up there, eating. And he grabs his plate and he walks over. He's like, "Hey, guys, what's up?" Well, he thought it was the baseball guys. It was the lacrosse guys. you know, and he was like, oh, I don't know anybody here. He just sat down anyway and started talking to him, you know, just to, you know, and of course made some friends. But the point is, it embarrassed him really bad because he assumed that the environment was such that it had familiarity. But when he got there, he was like, whoa, sorry about that. I'm like, no, sit down. You know, the point is, you know, sometimes our perception of something is really not the reality. And when the two meet, that's when growth occurs or flight, right? And you say, well, what's that got? Just follow what I'm saying here. Kyler Murray is not made to be uncomfortable. Therefore, he's not growing as a person.
That's correct.
Okay, now that doesn't mean that his character is being demeaned by the coaching staff or that, you know, he's, you know, being talked down to or looked down upon. That's not what that means. That means, you know, when your environment is such where you're comfortable all the time, then you settle. When you settle, you start dying. Now, does that mean physically dying? No, I'm talking about in whatever it is that you're undertaking.
Expanding yourself.
Yeah,
growing.
You're starting to live off of the, you know, and just maintenance in it instead of growing it. Why does Tom Brady continue to play? Because he finds ways to make himself uncomfortable and motivate and grow. Age obviously has nothing to do with it. It's arguable that people could say, well, he should have got out. He should have done this. He is you can't, not you, but, well, maybe you too. Excuse me, me and you. You could line up all the quarterbacks in the NFL, and there's very few teams that are going to put somebody else in front of him and take them. And take the other person. You line him up with Patrick Mahomes, there's a lot of people that say, well, I'd take Mahomes because he's younger and do the. There's a lot of people say, no, I want Brady's experience because this is the best fit for my team. Even at 45, getting ready to be 46 years old at some point. So, you know, this whole thing with Murray, I would say this is a make or break year for him, and it's going to break.
I agree.
And I'm not wishing failure upon him. What I'm saying is, from everything that we've seen and talked about, the things that are reported on, it sounds like to me the only sane move that's been made by anybody that's been fired is Cliff Kingsbury going and taking time to reflect on what's happening, get away from the craziness and the stylistic form of behavior that surrounds them on a daily basis. He needs time to recharge.
Lincoln, good morning. Richie said, fight or flight. Your response comes from how you have been treated and how they have things done to you or not done for you. You haven't been made to leave your bubble, and that's your comfort zone, basically. I mean, that's kind of the way that kind of plays out. Speaking of TB12, did you hear his press conference?
No.
And he is
he's furious, I know that.
A lot of folks think because of the emotional response that he had, he may be done.
He's done at Tampa.
Yes.
Unless they bring in. See,
he's done at Tampa.
I think a lot of it depends on Gronk too. That's not being talked about.
I think there would have to be a head coaching change made
at Tampa.
Yes.
Thing about it is, you know,
what was the difference? Why they came part this year, other than the head coach was different? Because Leftwich has been his offensive coordinator for 3 years.
There are pieces, though. There are pieces of that puzzle that have, you know, gone away.
I understand, but that's every year. That possibility's there every year.
Yes, but it doesn't. Well, that's true. But certain pieces leaving are more impactful than others leaving. Right? I mean, I agree with you 100%. It is the nature of the beast. But it's how you bring those pieces, those new pieces in, not necessarily to replace what's left, but how to bring it in to stay on the benefit of the mission. And, you know, he still has one of the best receivers, arguably the best in the NFL, in Mike Evans. You know, he's got a couple of really good tight ends that, you know, play at like their wide outs or move. They create separation. Their defense, you know, I got to tell you, Lanny, at some point you got to stop playing so much zone and go man underneath. And you can play one or two behind it, but you got to stop going so much zone. You know, especially if you got quick blitzes coming off the edge. You get on top of people, you cover them because of errant throws. If throws are not perfect, see, in zone defense, your throw does not have to be perfectly accurate, right? You can have a little bit of margin of error because
Wind is
people
bigger.
Right, because people are covering a space instead of a person, instead of a man, right? And even my 11-year-old sitting there looking at it like, Dad, why do they keep doing this? Well, buddy, that's number one, I don't know, but number two, this is valid because they can't get a stop on third down. Okay, and he's in the ER, 2 nights ago watching them play, and he's like, why do they keep playing? I mean, now this is a guy that's in the middle of some pretty agonizing pain. He's watching a game that's making it even worse. But then Lanny, situations have to be right. I think Brady's going to end up with Peyton wherever that is. And I'm probably wrong, but I just have that feeling.
You don't think he winds up at the Raiders back with Josh McDaniel?
Nah. McDaniel's not what made that go.
I understand.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying it was Belichick.
Yeah.
Belichick created that environment, and the two coexisted on this plane with the quarterback knowing who the head coach was.
Are you saying Tom needs another? This in the right word. Iron fisted coach.
Well, how well did he do with Arians? Arians was very critical of him.
Yes.
How well did he do?
Oh, I know.
He thrives in that environment. He wants
to be challenged.
He wants to be made uncomfortable so he can take it to the next level.
Yep.
And you say, well, he's 45. Listen, that matters not. We've seen a young man that was the last pick of the draft that was not thought to be
Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah, okay, whatever, that is likely going to have an opportunity to play at least for, I say at least, possibly in a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Because they're just as good as the Eagles.
I agree.
With how consistent he is. And I'm going to tell you this about McCaffrey. You talked about Steve Wilkes doing a great job in Carolina. One of the reasons that is you become dependent, right? It's addiction, these kind of things. You become dependent on certain things or certain people, all right? When you have a team, you can have teammates that you depend upon, but you can't be dependent on them.
Yes.
What he did is he got rid of the most dependent asset the Panthers had, and that was McCaffrey. I say he did. Whatever.
Right.
And then, of course, the wideout. That caused a little bit of trouble that too much dependency was put on. Right. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, what does that mean? Well, you got rid of one of the best players you got. That has nothing to – listen, it's about your culture inside of your program. It's not who the best player is. Mm-hmm. Okay? It's so stupid to say that. And to say – and now, again, it's my opinion – to say that, well, they're the best player, they got to play, how stupid.
But you have to weigh
if you're trying to form a team,
right? You have to weigh.
I'm sorry.
The other side of it is, and what you're basically saying is, you have to weigh and decide the negative that they bring. Does it offset the positive do they bring? And not just with them, but on the effect of the team as a whole.
That's a great point.
And that's
where is your human life value?
Yeah.
Not only in just being a human being, but the potential of what you bring to the table that is actually realized. And is it the right quantity, or is it of something that is of a negative nature that affects others in a negative way? Everything is a plus minus, a yin and a yang, equal and opposite. Okay? And those things are all assumed inside a vacuum. Well, that's not necessarily true, outside.
Right.
And it has to be the right fit. And when you talk about a Drew Brees, you talk about a Tom Brady, you talk about, Phillip Rivers.
Yeah.
All right, arguably a great generational talent that had success but never really achieved anything. And I'm not downplaying him. I'm talking
success.
I'm talking about on that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I blaming him?
The ultimate goal.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But, because he's such a great guy, did so many great things. But what I'm saying is,
especially have kids,
a ton. He's kind of like
that,
Kurt.
He's got that figured out.
But anyway,
all right. Let me give you this. Going back to the Chargers, all those years Phillip Rivers played there.
Yep.
Now the Chargers have fired offense coordinator Joe Lombardi, quarterback coach Shane Day, keeping Brandon Staley, it looks like, after they blew a 27-0 lead. Now,
why would you fire your offense when you blow the lead?
Okay, I was going to go there. I'm not sure. I would like to see Sean Payton go there. That's where I would like to see him. I think he could have the most success, but I don't think that's going to happen. And is it just I don't want to say the Chargers curse. I told you I lost a Hyundai when the Chargers played the 49ers, and I had 24 points. They was given 24 points, and I was beat at halftime. Yeah. And this was years ago when a Hyundai was really a Hyundai. But, sometimes you look for scapegoats just to – and so I think sometimes ownership wants you to make a move for the sake of making a move so that they can act like, well, we're doing our part. We're doing our part. Yeah.
It's like, when I'm talking to, well, I don't want to use
all right, let's see if how you feel on this one. I'm gonna give you the question. I'm gonna take a break. Richie said, to that point, you aren't going to stop them on third down when there is 5 yards to go and the DBs are 8 yards off the line.
I mean,
wait a minute. That's like being on the half-yard line going in for a score and you're in the shotgun. You're going to start from 5 yards deep. No, you're right. I'm too old school. Bob said, I feel for you four. Tampa's problem was their weak head coach and lack of leadership and direction. Hold that thought. I want to come back. I got a thought or two about that myself. So, we're getting into the last part here. We're going to take a break. Back in a minute.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with auto owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com. Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
All right, welcome back. It's got so heated and hot in here, and we're working on so many things. I had to go to the Gatorade. I didn't have a cooler back there, so I had to go to the individual jugs. Got to get rejuvenated here, just like they did at Florida State back in the day. Wasn't it where it was created? Florida. It was created at Florida.
Gatorade.
That's right. Spastic. Spastic. All right, now let me go back to Bob's question. We discussed this just a moment before we went to break. I wanted to save it. Bob said Tampa's problem was their weak head coach and lack of leadership and direction. Ford and I are on the same page on this one, Bob, and we're like you. I like Todd Bowles a lot.
Very much.
He's just not a head coach. Not every coordinator makes a great head coach. I think he's a great coordinator. I'll give you another one that's like that. Jack Del Rio's another one. He did not do as well as a head coach, but as a defense coordinator, that's a different animal.
Well, Dom Capers, people
was
could
another
argue, even though he went to a Super Bowl, people could argue that point with him as well.
Mm-hmm. Ron Rivera's been one of the few that I've seen because he understands the big picture.
Right, and I tend to be more favorable for Dom Capers than maybe most, as far as being a head coach, because I thought he was a really good leader, of the locker room.
Okay, can I interject right there?
Oh, absolutely.
The reason that I'll disagree with you a little bit on that, I didn't think he handled the Kerry Collins thing. Kerry Collins was a young, immature player that needed leadership, and Capers had no idea what to do with him.
Yeah, I think that was where I say young head coach, being a
inexperienced.
First-time head coach. Yeah, and I think there was a great learning curve there. I don't disagree with that at all, and that's kind of one of the unfortunate benefits. Young head coach.
Kerry Collins was almost a casualty.
Young and years experience head coach Cliff Kingsbury, young player Kyler Murray.
But Kingsbury was an experienced head coach from the college ranks, but not in the pro ranks.
Apples, oranges.
But he had a college player.
Apples and oranges. No, I'm not. I'm just saying when you go look at it, he was inexperienced.
Yes.
And had a young player.
Yes.
That I don't know if it's emotion or passion or maybe a combination of both, but guess what? Similarities.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah,
don't know.
But to your point, Bob, I agree. I agree. And we were talking about it, and I think the other thing is Todd's demeanor. He is low key, very low key, intelligent, but
incredible.
And Richie, that's a good point too. Some of these are very good examples of what happens when you get a player's coach. Mm-hmm. Instead of more of a disciplinarian, father figure type head coach like a Belichick. Yeah, now, I think Belichick swings the pendulum too far the other way.
At times.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is the guys that play for him, when you talk to them, the people in like the clients I got that I'm friends with that live up that way that are Patriot fans, okay. When I go see them, they call Belichick Darth Vader. However, that is someone that appears to be really bad but has a lot of good inside. And may do some things that you don't like, but yet he sees the big picture for the benefit of. That's why they call him Vader.
And very few players that have ever played for Belichick, even though they were kind of miserable because of the way he is, had utmost respect and felt
Randy
were
Moss is a great example.
Huge influence on their career.
Well, Randy Moss,
as a player.
I say single-handedly. That may be fair.
Yeah,
single-handedly saved Moss as far as from a continued development standpoint. Instead of just planing off and being really good, he helped him, be great through the acquisition of him. There, along with the mirroring and marrying of Brady to that, right?
No.
And just, I just think when you focus on high character, the value that someone brings, the intuition they have, the way they study what they do, that it makes the environment better for more people to succeed. And the more success you have with individuals, the less you depend on one person. Well, because it's you know what I'm saying. It's think of it like East Duplin beating Reidsville in the state championship. There was a lot of success that was shared by so many of those players on East Duplin's team. Where in Reidsville, they had great players all the way across the board, but it was more like, well, we're dependent on this player for this situation. We're dependent on this player for this only. Where East Duplin was just like, hey, we're all going to play at this level and give this level of effort and focus and energy, and we're going to find a way to do this. Now, what that comes from is your head coach.
Yeah.
Battle Holly at East Duplin is arguably the best coach in North Carolina. His daddy, Jack Holly, who coached at Tabor City for many years, went to Wallace Rose Hill where Battle went with him, and Battle coached there, and then, of course, now Battle's East Duplin. But Jack Holly, was arguably one of the best head coaches in North Carolina, maybe even North Carolina history. So, there's some – and my point is there's some similarities there that have intangibles to success that are, allowed to carry forward through attainment and then application. And so this is not like, these individual players. There's always going to be great players and talents that come along. But it was your ability, my ability as players and then as coaches to be able to harness that for the benefit of not only that player, but more importantly of the environment, the team, and then how do we elevate the team based off of that? Does it make other players play better? And I was a player personally, like whether it be football, basketball, baseball, when I had other great players around me, I played my best. My senior year, most of the guys that I grew up with had graduated or played with all these years, and I had a very mediocre senior year because I was not the guy that maybe you could put everything on and me carry everything. I was a major contributor, and it's just I
made
guess,
other people around you better.
And that's what I tried to do. Now, immaturely, not knowing how to handle situations, but it's one of those things that I think that's what helped me coaching-wise for many years was the mistakes that I made as a player from an emotional standpoint that I mistaken for passion, and how I dealt with my teammates and other coaches, how it helped me grow as a person and see, there's a bigger picture here. Let's find out what this is and how to apply it. I think if Kyler Murray can grow up, okay, and they find someone to come in and manage that young man, then you can see a talent flourish. We may be past that point. I don't know.
The thing you have to understand, and this is something especially today's generation can't understand or struggle to understand. I guess I don't want to say can't. That's a absolute struggle to understand is someone who's trying to make you better doesn't have to be your best friend. They're looking out for what's best for you, regardless of how it's affecting you from a, as you say, a feeling side. My head coach from high school, I've told you the story. I was called whale stuff on the bottom of the ocean one time. That's how bad I was.
That's how low it was.
That's as low as you could go. And the next week we watched film, and I had worked myself up to this regular crap I'd come off the ocean floor, which, that was – but I was still crap.
You have ascended.
So, but I wish he was around. I love him and miss him, but he made me better. I mean, he made me better. Didn't mean we didn't have good times together, but you had to draw those lines. You know what I'm saying?
100%. My high school coach told me, he said, quarterback this week when we were watching film, he said, I really want you to throw it to our team instead of theirs.
Make you feel
and,
good.
well, at first I was like, I can't believe – and then I was like, you know what? What he's telling me is in front of everybody is, look, we need you to be better.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Now, we understand you're going to make mistakes, but and he never – I still don't think he knows my name. Quarterback. But the point is he, wanted me to be better so our team could be better,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And there may be ways that you go about it, but it's all about the personality and the person that's delivering it
and how you
and their
handle it.
intent,
Mm-hmm.
and then how you handle what the intent is instead of what is said. That's why I always tell the players, don't listen to how I say what I say.
Yeah.
Please listen to what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay?
the great communicator.
It's not the point is going to be the point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now it may be a little forceful and a little passion mixed in.
Gruff.
Yeah, but the content of the message is so much more important than the delivery,
Right.
Because the substance of the message is more important than the style.
Right.
Now, when you can mirror the two and deliver it,
Mm-hmm.
then that's not the secret, but that's the perfect remedy
Yeah.
for correcting or enhancing behavior.
Yeah.
So,
Lincoln said the odd event for the Chargers, but it's the same thing that happened to Atlanta.
Yeah, no,
in the
very
Super Bowl,
true.
the
Dan
collapse.
Quinn. Dan Quinn's a great example of, and we'll see because he'll probably get another head coaching opportunity, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we will see if he's that guy that is a great coordinator. Todd Bowles single-handedly took, okay? He took, one of the best generational quarterbacks of our time out of the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He made him irrelevant. I say irrelevant. He made him do things that he normally wasn't going to do in Mahomes.
Right.
He
No, I
did
agree.
that.
I agree.
So it's not that Bowles doesn't know what he's doing from a schematic standpoint. It may be how he leads certain locker rooms of men.
Speaking of, here's another one. According to reports, the Cleveland Browns are going to hire Jim Schwartz
Ooh, that's
to
a
be
good
their
hire.
defense coordinator.
That's a good
Another
hire.
one.
Yes,
Did not
yes.
do well at Detroit
No,
as a
but
head
he's-
coach, but a super coordinator.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is incredible. See, Belichick was in that thing where they were talking about this guy, is he really going to be a good head coach? He's a great
Yep.
coordinator.
Yep.
His dad has all this experience, growing up in a naval, what I'm saying, all that.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, he's shown that,
He's pretty good.
yeah, he's okay.
I thought this was kind of huge. Ben Johnson, one of the hottest names out there,
Yep.
offense coordinator for the Lions,
Well,
has told the Lions he will return as offensive coordinator next year, which means he's not considering any potential head coach.
that's huge for the
For the
growth
Lions.
of
Goff.
Jared Goff.
Yes.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And do you know that Goff was, I think, the highest rated quarterback the last half of the season? I think he had like 15, 16 touchdowns, no picks, something like that. His QBR, it was off the charts. Now, again, was the environment under McVay one where Goff, who is a highly successful, highly motivated individual, okay, maybe just wasn't the right fit, all right, and a new start helped him reflect.
There's a long list of those.
Yes.
Sam Darnold, Steve Wilkes.
I
mean,
just-
you go through the list. Stafford.
Oh.
It's just
yes.
sometimes it's a chemistry thing.
Russell Wilson's the opposite. He had a rough year in Denver. We're going to find out if it was the coordinator or the head coach coordinator or if it's the player. We're going to find out.
I honestly believe it was the coach.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying, but we will find out. We will. Because Russ was
Now,
not
there's a
Russ.
lot of things that came out that kind of surprised me about Russ.
Yes.
But maybe it's just because it's a
know.
bad situation.
And sometimes, the things with the greatest intent and things that look like they're going to be really good don't turn out that way, so you make adjustments, and that's what they did. But, the thought was, hey, this guy's going to be able to do pretty good with Wilson. He's got a track record. Sometimes we get in our own way maybe a little too much. We don't step back and look at the situation. Like, our system is the most important thing instead of the application of the parts to our system and how does
you
it
have
work.
to go back, just like I said. You have to do a fair evaluation of what you have to work
I'm going
with.
to give you 4 people.
Okay.
You tell me if you're going to run a 3-man front or 4-man front. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
T.J. Watt, J.J. Watt, Michael Strahan, all right, and Dominican Sue. What are you running? You run a 3-man front, you run a 4-man front. You see what I'm saying? Oh, hey, this is it. This is it. The 3-4 is the only defense you can do because so-and-so said it was the best, and I've got to do this. And you have those 4 players.
Do you know what?
You're going to sub them out for each other?
Do you know what? In my determination, when I was at Bunker Hill, we were contemplating getting out of the 50. Okay. And going to either a 4-3, 3-4. They're all the same.
Right. Just your dynamics, yeah.
But what determines, what determines whether you're a 3-man front or a 4-man front? How many fat boys you got? If you ain't got but one fat boy, you're a 3-4.
Yeah, that's where he's going.
And here's the other side. If you ain't got 2 beasts at edge rusher, it's going to be hard to run a 4-3.
Exactly.
Because you of how much containment they've got.
Bookends.
That's where that player personnel determines what you run. Not,
this is my system, and this is what we're going to do.
It's all about fat boys.
I've got this. And
it's all about fat boys, I'm telling you.
That's about like saying, I can't believe that so-and-so did it. I mean,
it's all about fat boys. Fat boys make the determination.
Golly, man. I don't know.
Richie says, which means that the Panthers are going in a different direction. I don't know what the Panthers are going to do. I don't think Steve Wilkes will be your head coach next year.
Sad.
And I hate it. I really do.
The only person I think that would be better for that job than Wilkes is Sean Payton. But I personally believe if they hired Payton, that it would deter from the true, in my opinion, what is the true focus, which is not football, soccer, and it would turn Charlotte back into a football town instead of a soccer town, which is the direction that it's going. Now, that is arguable, and people may say, that's not true. You can't. Okay, so the focus of the people that are in control become the reality of the situation. Mm-hmm. All right? So I still think they're going to end up moving to South Carolina and building a stadium down there. And I think they're going to leave Bank of America Stadium where it is, and it's going to be a great
Vive la France.
It'll be a great facility for whatever
soccer and concerts.
Whatever league what is the league called?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. I don't follow it, so it's not of interest to me. I'm not saying that it's wrong or I don't like it. It's just not of interest to me.
That's
right?
me, mm-hmm.
And that's okay. You know, I have the right to be interested in whatever I want to be interested in. Okay,
like the NBA. I'm not interested.
But the point is, I just feel like that was a main focal point of the current owner when he acquired the Panthers, was to not help them achieve Super Bowl stardom or status, but to be able to start implementing other things in. If the focus of football was on that team and about that team, the focus was only football, then there would not be soccer inside the stadium. You can't have a shared focus.
The multifaceted approach he wants to put to that environment. Concerts,
his
events,
job is to make money. And that's okay.
Yeah.
But you can't be a fan and say, I can't believe that. Okay, first of all, don't be sheepish.
Mm-hmm.
All right, look at things, analyze and assess the situation based on your own experiences, ideas, and thoughts of others. Come to your own conclusion, and then roll with it. If you want to fall on the sword, and Panthers this, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing it because I'm not convinced that is a priority. And at times I've questioned the Steelers over the last 10 years.
Me too.
Okay? Mm-hmm. But I'm not ready to fall on the sword.
The problem with the Steelers, and this can't be quick, but the problem with the Steelers is not that there's not a focus on football. The problem with the Steelers is we've always done this way, and we've had these loyalties, and we can't change that. That's what they don't want to break the mold of who they are, of what identifies the Steelers. and it may be the time. Richie says the same thing. The focus of the owner is to make money via his main investment or what other things that investment can bring
and
in.
I don't blame him for that. What I'm saying is I'm not going to go in
and the owner that just
buy all this stuff and get all excited about something that the focus and reality are not the same thing that I'm looking for my focus, and which I want to be a reality.
Will I turn the channel and watch them? Yeah. But that's about
in
it.
your chair.
I'm not. Yeah, my big beast chair, the greatest chair ever invented. Just in case you
tried to get Mandy. So we finally put gas logs in. Okay, we've always burnt wood, and so I had a, I thought, my wood stove's getting old. Okay, and I've got to do something. I've got to have a backup heat source. We heat with gas anyway in the house. We have an older home, and it's just non-insulated, and you got to do what you got to do. Okay. So the guy comes out this summer, and he says, inspects the chimney. Oh, you do not burn any more fires until I clean this chimney. You don't have a liner. It's going to burn down. It's going to burn the house. Now, we've had fires in the house for 100. This has been a year 112. But the house is going up in flames the next one I build. That's fine. Professional comes out, no problem. I got to put a liner in, but I got to clean it first. Then you get your wood stove, everything will be fine. Okay, when can you do that? Now, this is in July. November 23rd. Like, you're the busiest man in America. Congratulations. I'm happy you have that much business in a chimney service. It's late July. You're telling me there's not one day you can come before that and insert it. Okay, so the stove's supposed to arrive September 30th. No problem. So it's November 12th. The stove finally arrives. Guy goes and picks it up on the 23rd like he said he would, comes over, takes some old one out, okay. What do you want me to do with this? Just set it out the road. The town will not come by and pick this up. Yeah, they will. They're here to serve the citizens. I'm not throwing out nuclear waste. It is a old buck stove. No, they won't. I've been doing this 35 years in a town. I said, tell you what, Brian, how you doing? Good. I need a favor. Sure. I'm setting a stove out, and I really need it picked up today or tomorrow if you can. We'll be there in 10 minutes for, no problem. Thank you, Brian. Okay. That's the first thing I had to deal with. Of course, town comes and picks it up, and they take it and do. That's what they serve the citizens.
They ride around, looking for stuff you put it to road.
You know what I'm saying? They serve.
That's correct.
The two guys got out of a truck, picked it up, put it back, took it off.
Yep.
So the guy cleans my chimney. While he's cleaning it, they get ready to put the other stove in. Of course, they got all the pipes and everything. The liner they're going to put in. Hour later, he comes up to me and says, Mr. Embert, I have to talk to you. Okay, what's up? I'm so sorry, but we can't install this liner. Okay, you can't or you won't. What's the problem? He said, it's a 4-inch pipe that is a liner that'll go. He said, I've always been able to narrow it down some with chimneys that are small. Your chimney's condensed down less than 2 inches.
Wow.
So I can't get it through. And he said, I can't in good conscience put this stove in here and let you burn another fire because you've only got one brick separating, going up where the fire goes out and the wall of your son's room up above you. So I appreciate that. You're a very kind man. Thank you for your compassion. I said, but this summer you came out here. I know, I'm so sorry. I can't. I said, okay, no problem. Look, you made a mistake. No problem. Thank you for letting me know. What am I supposed to do? Well, you can maybe have some gas logs put in or something. Call SB Hardware at Hildebrand. Hey, guys, that's where I got my wood stove from. Great guys up there. They are wonderful people. Known them for 40 years. Said, look, that guy that you guys had come out said he could clean my chimney and put this. He said he can't put the liner in. They said, we'll take the stove back because we can sell it, no problem. I said, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm a win-win guy. I'm going to buy gas logs from you. All right? So this is all a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. So I called one of my friends here in town that does things. Hey, can you come install my gas logs? I need to put them in my – what happened to your wood stove? Told him the story, whatever. He said, yeah, sure, we can come out. I get a call back. Man, I don't think we can do that. I'm like, whoa. We have an old house. We got tons of brick and rock. They're there. They thought they were going to have to drill through, and the guy said, well, let's go up through the floor on the end here. Go around. Okay, well, if you're okay with that, we can. I said, I'm fine with that.
Is that just getting the gas to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem.
Because you went unvented, I'm sure.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
They come out 3 months, 2 months later, we got, form of heat. The point is, sometimes things are a long, drawn-out process, and we have people that are looking out for us that we may not agree with in the initial part of things. But in the end, we have to keep finding solutions till we get something to work that's for the benefit of what we're trying to do.
You gotta get to a solution.
Long story, but what I'm saying is I gave a lot of grace where 20 years ago, a dude would have been strangled for telling me the town wouldn't have come out and picked that up, number one. Number two, I've already been out here, now I can't do this. Both hands around his neck, probably buried in the backyard. Not today.
That's an aging thing.
Not today. You know what? Guys, it's okay. There's people starving in the world.
Give me my options. Where do we go next?
We got it done. The point is, I asked Mandy in front of those gas logs if I could put a TV up on the mantle, up on the rock, and put a big chair like Lanny's guy, and she said, absolutely not.
See,
so that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
You didn't listen to my story. Didn't I explain this to you? I went looking for a chair alone. I found the chair that I wanted that was on the floor in stock. And I said, I want that chair. Put it on my truck. And she said, what's Kim going to say? I said, I've got the card and the truck. Put it on my truck. And I took it home. And it's still sitting there. And she's still not happy, but it's still there. And everybody that sits in it, including Hugh Joe Wesley, says, Dad, this is the greatest chair ever.
That's all I've heard.
When he can lay down in that chair and be comfortable, that's a great chair.
My wife is a third of my size, but I'm horrified of.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Your first mistake was saying, Manny, can I have a chair like Lanny's? God. Put it on the truck. Addison, come help me carry his chair in.
I'm coming to sit at your house.
I want to say I put the chair in the house before she got home.
I have no doubt you did.
It was like, what is that? That's my new chair. And I did what I was supposed to do. It matched the decor. That's the only thing I was required to do was match the decor.
I'm happy for you.
Because I have brought a green chair in before.
I'm very happy for you.
Okay. All right, that's it. Thanks for joining us on this day in home furnishings. See you tomorrow.